every week. Catch it freshest on your TV. Field level football, Quan, Pat, and CT. On the field running plays for the 3P. And we shine lights, camera action when you see the team. Pick 6, touchdown when I got the ball. And if you think you in my league, tell them knock it off. Money calling every day and I just got the call. Reduction over projection, it's in us, we just got a ball. We just got a ball. We just got a ball. We just got a ball.
We just got a ball. It's the Field Level, the football podcast of the West Coast. I'm Pat. That's Quan. CT may be joining us a little bit earlier. My man had to take care of his business, so we allow him to do that business talk that he's getting into. So tonight it might just be me and Quan. CT might jump in, but we here for another one, another good opportunity to talk some football. Y'all know we love to talk that football talk over here on the Field Level, the football podcast of the West Coast. Before we get into it tonight, make sure that you're following us on Twitter at the Field Level and also following us on Instagram at the Field Level 1. Is it, or do I have that backwards? Twitter Field Level 1, Instagram Field Level 1. Yeah. All right, Twitter Field Level 1, Instagram at the Field Level. Make sure you're doing that. Quan, what's going on with you tonight, boss?
Hey, what's going on, man? I feel good, blessed and highly favored. I'm kind of upset, man. I didn't get a chance to have my green tea and sea moss, but I'll have it after.
Man, I'm on this. You know what I'm on tonight? I'm on that just
what
straight aloe. Just straight aloe. Just straight aloe. Original. Original. Just straight aloe. Okay. No flavor. Just straight aloe. Okay. So we here. Let me take a swig of this. You know what I mean?
There it is.
There it is. There it goes. There it is. How's happening? Well, we back y'all for another opportunity to just talk some football talk. It's the finale. Somebody say the finale of the preseason. The finale of the preseason. Last preseason game happened. This happens today. Today's the end of it all. Which is interesting enough because it's like, whoa, preseason is today. What's this? August 28th. And then we won't see August 29th. We won't see the first game of the regular season until September 9th. So they have a nice little bit of time, about a week break between preseason and regular season starting to kind of iron out those rosters and get some stuff done on that instance. But let's talk tonight. Let's really make some things happen. Do we want to start off first and foremost? I mean, dude, is that what we want to do? I don't know. Is that what we kind of want to make happen? Are we going to start with that? Nah, let's get to some news first. So let's talk some news. Interestingly enough, this week a cool instance that happened. The Jacksonville Jaguars come out and name Trevor Lawrence as their starter, first round pick out of Clemson. We all know that for a fact. But on the back end of that, they end up trading Gardner Minshew away to the Philadelphia Eagles, which was interesting for me, simply being that Gardner Minshew is a good football player, a really, really good quarterback. Why do I trade my insurance policy away with the next quarterback coming in being CJ Beathard? We know not the long time 49er, but been a 49er for about the past 5 years. And they decide to trade Gardner Minshew away. And I guess they're banking on CJ being the backup there. If I'm Gardner, I'm happy. Simply because I have a better chance of beating or putting pressure on Jalen Hurts than I do Trevor Lawrence, maybe.
I'd say yes, just because of the optics of Trevor Lawrence. Because of number 1 overall pick, he's been the consensus best quarterback prospect since he committed to Clemson in high school. So I think the optics around it when Gardner Minshew kind of came in as the odd man looking out when was he undrafted?
5th round, I believe, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
5th round, but nobody expected nothing of him. Right. It was kind of like a phenomenon when he was the starter for a minute. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. I think he got a better chance of making headway on the Eagles in case, Hurts goes down or doesn't pan out, because they're not really committed to him neither.
Right.
But I don't know personally if CJ Beathard is necessarily guaranteed to be the backup. I know he got the experience, and he has a lot of starting
experience as a starting quarterback. Game experience.
He has some experience, right? But Jake Luton, the quarterback from Oregon State, who is I think in his second year, They really like him up there in Jacksonville, and he played good today in their final preseason game. So I think it's a toss up for their backup. But I think we can both agree none of those two, Beathard or Lutton, put any kind of pressure on Lawrence.
Oh no,
Right. So
not
they
at all.
did that, yeah.
But I think what irritated me personally, I'm just going to keep it 1,000. I was at the game against New Orleans, right? Trevor Lawrence didn't look that great to me. I know he looked a lot better this week. But from my point of view, you just keep a pretty solid insurance policy. Like you don't just go ahead on hand the guy the keys to the kingdom, and there's not a guy that if something were to happen that you're just like, okay, he can get us some wins. He can, he can put us out there and we'll win some games with this guy.
Right.
And now being that being the fact, I don't know if CJ or Jake is going to give you wins if something were to happen to Trevor. So just not my ideal circumstance. Anything happened in the news this week for you, Quan, that you want to touch on?
Honestly, that's kind of what I wanted to talk. So I'm glad we didn't share notes, but I'm glad we on the same wavelength.
Come on, man. It's like a telepathic thing.
Man, I know, but that's kind of the big thing for me, man. Just like you said, but this is what we talk about, and we say it all the time on the show. We don't believe you could just give somebody the starting role.
Right.
I get it. He's number one. I totally get it. But if you were just gonna, I wouldn't do this. But if you were gonna give him the job, you should have just got rid of Gardner Minshew before the draft to give him ample time to find a spot that he wanted.
Learn the new offense, the whole nine. Now he's behind the eight ball.
Bro, just do what the Jets did. They got rid of everybody way before they took Zach Wilson. So that way, I still don't agree with it, giving a guy a job. But if you're going to do it that way. I think that's better for both parties.
In other news, another quarterback situation has been kind of finalized. The New Orleans Saints. They came out and said Jameis will be the quarterback going forward. He is QB1, beat out Taysom Hill for that position. Rightfully so. I mean, Jameis.
Rightfully so.
Jameis is the quarterback of the two. I think Taysom Hill is a good football player. Don't think he's a great quarterback. Don't think he even doesn't even have the potential to be a great quarterback. He'll be a gadget guy where you can run some trick plays, do some solid things, some nuances to the offense. But he's not going to be that quarterback that's going to be able to drop back and throw the ball 40 times and win the game.
Right.
Jameis can do that. Jameis has the better arm. Jameis I don't know of Taysom being this super intelligent guy, but Jameis has a pretty solid IQ when it comes to football. So, definitely excited to see what the Jameis Winston New Orleans Saints look like on the back of a Hall of Famer in Drew Brees.
I think they'll look good. I think them making Jameis the starter puts them in playoff contention in that division. Now, of course, we know the Bucs are there, but I think with Jameis, everybody always said the Bucs would have went to the playoffs with Jameis if he would have cut his interceptions in half.
Right.
And seeing the way, and you were at the game, so I'm sure you would agree, watching him command the offense, he was in control, he was going through his reads, and he wasn't forcing things.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like with the Bucs, he was forcing things down the field, going for the big play. But now I feel like he has no pressure. Like, I don't think there's even a pressure of, I got to fill Drew Brees' footsteps. Like, no, you don't.
No, it's not your job.
Yeah. That's not your job. You can just go in there. And because he had a city year, I think it kind of humbled him as well. So I think Jameis is going – I think personally Jameis is going to possibly be have a Pro Bowl stat line. The Pro Bowl is kind of about popularity, but I think his stats will scream Pro Bowl for sure.
Oh, 100%. I think he does have that ability there with that team. And I'm interested to see what that team looks like, though, because if you think about it, no Michael Thomas for however long, we don't know. Deontay Harris has a pending suspension. I think Ty Montgomery's injured as of right now. So that receiver room is interesting to watch. You have Kawon Baker, the rookie that they drafted from SMU. Chris Hogan, who they signed, Kevin White, who they signed, who had an abysmal game the last time we seen him. That was absolutely terrible. They do have Aesop. Aesop is there. So it might be a situation where that receiver room is going to be interesting to look out for, because if you think about it, you'll have Marquez Callaway, you'll have little Jordan Humphreys. I'm talking about guys that are going to start the year, right? Excluding Deontay, excluding Michael Thomas. I'm talking about the guys that are going to start the year off. Marquez Callaway, little Jordan Humphreys, Ty Montgomery. Don't know how his health situation is right now. And then after those three, then we start looking at Kawan Baker, Aesop Winston, Chris Hogan, Kevin White, and that's it. If I'm not mistaken, that's it. So it's kind of like it's going to be interesting to see how that first couple weeks of the season look for Jameis and that receiving core. You have Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, he might be your number one until Thomas come back. But I tell me something. If you've been a fan of the show, or if you're just tuning in, our little bro Saab is on the Saints. Okay,
Right.
So pardon my bias, but
I try my best not to be.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be a little biased, right? Just a tiny bit. I don't like that they were force feeding Kevin White the ball, because you clearly see like he was a former first round pick with all the talent in the world. They're trying to see if they could pull some magic out of him.
Resurrect something.
They're trying to resurrect something before he gets too old. So I understand it. But then you do that and you take away snaps from somebody else who's been grinding, like for real. So I didn't like that. So if he makes the roster, I'd be shocked. But the Baker kid you talked about, I didn't see too much of him in that game, or maybe even the whole preseason of the game.
Yeah, he didn't have any catches the last game. I think the game before that he might have had 2 or 3 catches. I think for him, he has to just work on separation. I feel like he doesn't create enough separation in his routes. But bigger body. I think he's probably like 6'1", 6'1", stocky. So he has a nice frame, but he's going to have to work on separating.
See, but that screams maybe not the biggest issue, because he got to the league, so it worked a little bit. But I feel like if he's only 6'1" and he's having problems separating, I mean, they got the Humphreys kid who's 6'4", and his problem is separating. But that's why they move him in the slot, and he's their next version of Marcus Colston, because he's not getting no separation. So if you got somebody who's smaller than that having the same issues, and I don't think Chris Hogan's going to make the roster. I think he was just a veteran presence there just in case some of their young guys didn't show. But Callaway showed, I'm the number one until Mike Thomas come back.
Right.
And then we'll see what goes from there. So I'll be paying attention with a little bias.
We'll be tuned in to see what's going on.
We'll be tuned in.
Trying to figure everything out. But let's go ahead on and get to it. Everybody's been waiting. We're the football podcast of the West Coast. And today was what we formerly would call the Battle of the Bay. But now it's the Battle of the Bay. It's still the Battle of the Bay, but it's just San Francisco versus Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino.
I like that. Look at that. Okay.
In Las Vegas, Nevada. So it was the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the San Francisco 49ers out here in Santa Clara. The 49ers, if you don't know, I'm sure you do. 49ers win the game 34-10.
Could have been worse.
Should have been worse. Should have been a lot worse. 34-10, the 49ers take that game. Let me ask you right off of the bat, how'd you feel about it, Raider?
Are you asking me how I felt about the game or just my team? What are we talking about here?
Game, team, the floor is yours, kind sir.
All right, so it was preseason, so let's get that out the way first. But I know this is a rivalry, so we're going to brag a little bit. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it. It is what it is. But it did show that your depth performed better today. Yeah. Your depth performed better today, especially in some areas I know UNCT talk about some of the areas that concern y'all. Let me just get this out the way. I even wrote notes for this game because I was going to be ready.
Put on the notes.
Check this out. Trent Sherfield, did I say it right?
Yeah.
He's a problem. He's a problem. And he's hungry. Like, you can see it the way he runs his routes, the way he attacks the ball in the air. to me, he's like a I don't want to say a more shiftier Debo, but I see Debo a little in him, the way like his playing style, very aggressive.
Quan, I'm not trying to jump the gun here. But let me ask you a question. Since you mentioned them, what kind of let's bounce off of each other real quick. I know you got your notes, but let's just bounce. It seems like every year in the NFL, there is a surprise guy that comes out of nowhere and becomes dang near a Pro Bowl talent, right? It's just this is how it happens. Every so often, here comes this receiver, here comes this running back out of nowhere and just balls out. For me, prematurely, I'll say, Trent Sherfield is showing something that I'm like, ooh, that boy bad. I'm talking about to the point where I was discussing if he would be the number 3 guy, right? If he can overtake that number 3 position. I've shifted my discussion to can he be the guy for the 49ers this year in the wide receiver room? Because he's just done that much this preseason. He's just showed that much this preseason. So I'm interested to see. I'm gonna pass it back over. I just want to sprinkle that in there.
Okay. That'll be interesting to watch. I'm not gonna say that just because I think Brandon Ayuk did so much last year for you guys, providing us a different kind of element of speed, spark, and athleticism. I mean, he was hurdling people and landing on his feet. You know what I'm saying? So I do think though Trent Sherfield is making the right progression to be your number 3. Debo is your do-it-all. He's going to get the reverses. He's going to get, you got to put him in the backfield. He'll catch the ball. But I think he is showing, especially with Jimmy G, who's probably going to open up as your starter. Like Jimmy was throwing to him like, hey, more than Debo. Like they're comfortable with him. So I like that. But let me get to Raiders. Nathan Peterman again. Nathan Peterman played pretty much every snap in the preseason. And today
he did.
I know. He did have a pick today, but I thought he looked solid. He was 18 to 29, 175. If you watch the game, you don't even see those stats pile up like that. But the Niners defensive line, backups and all, they were getting after him. I think Kinlaw was in there. Kinlaw got some pressure on him in the end zone on one play. Like y'all was relentless with the pressure. So he wasn't as accurate as he was against the Rams, but he played solid. He had a couple of overthrows. That's what led to the pick from Clinton Dix. Good to see him make a play back there. Hopefully he lands on to you guys because I think your safety room is kind of up in the air, honestly. What's up, Sadi? I will say our running back, we had a position battle between Trey Regis and BJ Emmons. I think he took over. I think he won it today.
Regis or Emmons?
Regis won it.
Yeah.
But we already have Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, and Jalen Richard. Now, Jalen Richard is our pass-catching back, but now we have Kenyon Drake. So I think he might be expendable, even though I like him. He might be expendable and keep Regis as your 3rd. If we keep Richard, Regis will go on the practice squad. I just hope he don't get picked up off waivers from somebody. And then the last guy I want to talk about on my offense is Dylan Stoner, wide receiver, undrafted free agent at Oklahoma State. Yeah. He looks good, but I think he's going to be on the practice squad. I thought he played well enough to make the roster, but I think he'll get on the practice squad just because watching him versus man today, like press man today, he couldn't get no separation. He was getting beat up, pushed to the sideline. I think even the announcer said, as a receiver, you got to give your quarterback some room. You can't just get pushed to the sideline.
Right.
And it was on every press rep. So he might make the practice squad just to kind of tool those things. Defense. We talked about him last week, Damon Arnett.
Come on, bro. Y'all better start. That's my favorite Raider by far.
Played very, very well. He looks different. He looks hungrier. Also looks humble because we brought in Casey Hayward to pretty much take his spot and make him earn his reps. So he looks hungrier, had a couple of PBUs. He looks bigger, like he gained some weight, so that's good. Meek Robertson, our slot corner, who's now moving back to the outside, more comfortable. He played well today. Carl Joseph is back for the Raiders. He looks solid. And then the last thing I want to mention is I think our linebacker depth, which I talked last week, is still an issue. We have a lot of injuries there, and it showed today. We played a lot of guys, and there's no consistency there. But that's it for the Raider talk. Y'all beat us pretty handedly. I want to hear what you got to say about the Niners.
Interestingly enough, I was in church when the game was going on, so I tried to catch a little bit here and there. I got home, recorded it, so I went and kind of caught a little bit of the first half and a little bit of the second half there. I was excited. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo played really well. Garoppolo played really, really well. And Trey Lance played good. I thought it was interesting how both quarterbacks started off the game with rushing touchdowns. Who would have thought that Jimmy would have had the first rushing touchdown, and then here comes Trey Lance a little while later and has one. Not only did Jimmy run it in, he ran it with authority, dropped his shoulder on the backer.
Yeah, see. He dropped the shoulder to the goal line, and it just happened to come on, man. Don't do that. Trey's run looked much smoother.
It was much smoother. Of course, Trey's a running quarterback. But no, Jimmy had he finished the game at 87.8 QBR, played really, really well, made all the right throws. Does Peterman make the 53? I would hope he would make the 53 after playing every snap in the preseason. I would hope he made the 53. But no, it was times when Peterman was playing. I think John Gruden just was looking bad. Like he was looking pissed. It was just like, man. But let me jump around a little bit. All right. So, interestingly enough, if Kyle Shanahan takes this model of an offense that he put out on the field today into the regular season, this becomes very interesting. The way he shuffled in and out Jimmy and Trey as a defense, that would just drive me nuts. I wouldn't you're not what are we preparing for? You know what I mean? Like, all right, here comes Jimmy. All right, next play, here comes Trey. Trey can throw the ball, though. He's not like a Taysom Hill or something where it was in New Orleans last year where they were shuffling it out. This is a situation where Trey is a legit quarterback. So now there's another dynamic in the same game that I'm having to prepare for. That is interesting. And I think that you saw the Raiders kind of get into that position today. Came in, ran some zone read, handled it every time until he got down the goal line. And then you've seen those backers crash on the zone read. Why? Because they've seen it 5 or 6 times up until that point. And he had never pulled. Then he pulls and walks right in for the touchdown. Interesting dynamic there. I think that another guy that really showed improved for me today was Deommodore Lenoir. He gave up that one to Stoner. Was in good position, just was a situation, good ball, turned a little too early. First big catch of the preseason he let happen.
Yeah, he's only gave up one, or his first catch he gave it was today.
Yeah, so but then there was the shallow out to the backer in the beginning of the game, and he came up and stuck him, put a nice hit on it. Do I think Lenoir makes the 53? Absolutely. There is absolutely no way he doesn't make this 53. Now, who worries me immensely is Ambry Thomas, the corner that they got, from Michigan. He hasn't looked the part to me, bro. He just hasn't looked the part to me, and it's been a little irritating. I will say this though, going back to your point, the San Francisco 49ers defensive line, that depth is crazy.
Yeah.
That depth is ridiculous. This might be the deepest defensive line in the league. Like you have guys that are getting cut that won't even be on practice squad that'll be starters somewhere else.
There was some guy, I don't know his name. It's BJ Eckers or Hecker. What's his name? I don't know his name, but he on your team, the Niners.
Yarbrough?
No, it's like an Eckler, not Eckler. I don't know.
I know you're talking about Samson Ebukam.
No, not him. Anyway, when you see him, you'll know he was killing it though. Number 92, I think is his number.
Oh, that's Zach Kerr.
There you go. He was making, man. There was one we was trying to do the center was trying to, kind of like block him and then go to the second level real quick. He just did a nice little swim move. Whew.
Yeah, I'm with you. Zach Kerr played well. Trent Sherfield played well. I'm still worried Trent Sherfield has a great preseason, right? But I still have the same issue that I've had for the last 2 weeks. We got to stop. We don't need to. Why are we dropping the football?
I'm glad you pointed that out, but go ahead, because I have something to say about that. Oh, man, look like Pat dropped out. We'll field up with family. I'm going to take it over. He'll be back in probably like 2 seconds. This happens sometimes. You know, we be trying to fix it. Oh, there you go.
I hate when that does that. It does it out of nowhere. But no,
okay.
Yeah, we got to stop dropping the football. Jalen Hurd comes in. This is your opportunity, bro. We've been waiting for you, bro.
For 3 years.
3 years, bro. We've been waiting for you, bro. You back. You here now. All right, cool. Welcome. We've been waiting for you, bro. Trey delivers a dime. I mean, like right over the extended hand of the corner, hits you in both of your hands, and you drop the ball. Womp womp womp.
Hey, you've been in games where sometimes the hand be in the vision. The hand was in his vision.
You play receiver. What do they say, Quan?
Oh, I'm not giving an excuse. I'm just giving you the background of what it was. But I agree with you. The drops was crazy, and you know what? With Hurd, he's gonna make the team though, because Kyle already came out and said when he's healthy, he's definitely one of our better 6. And the versatility.
6, yeah.
And the versatility he gives you just allows him to make the team. But I do agree with you, man. The drops. Do you think Trey, like on the drop, the dime he threw to Jawan Jennings at the goal line?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna say he dropped it because he saw a linebacker coming. But even then, it was only like maybe a 5 to 6 yard route. Trey needs to learn. You got to take some off. Like his fastball, I wouldn't be surprised if he breaking fingers throughout the year, bro.
I don't care, Quan.
I'm just saying, though, that was Cap's problem, right, Cap? They're only running a quick slant. They're like 4 yards away from you, and you throw it your hardest. Now, if it's press, I totally get it. You got to get it there. But I felt like at the goal line where you were trying to fit it in between 2 players, put it on his stomach so he could. You know what I'm saying? But that's just
I don't care, Quan. You got to catch the ball.
It's nitpicking. He should have caught the ball. It's just nitpicking.
Yeah, it is. And it's a lot where I'm just like, come on, guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're in the National Football League. You get paid to catch footballs. Catch the football at the end of the day.
Who makes the roster at receiver for you guys? If you guys carry 6, that's what Shanahan probably said. You're going to carry 6. Probably have maybe, 1 or 2 on the practice squad. Let me hear him. Let me hear it.
Okay, you got Ayuk for sure.
Boom.
Ayuk. Debo.
Boom.
Sheffield.
Uh-huh. Mohamed Sanu is going to make the team, so let's just put that in.
I don't know that. I would say, before I would say Mohamed Sanu, I would say Jawan Jennings.
What?
Yeah. Have you watched this preseason? Who's had the better preseason?
I guess so, but I mean,
he
didn't have a good game today.
Yeah, Travis Benjamin has been making a case over the last couple of weeks. I just don't know. They already cut River Craycraft once, so I'm sure they'll probably cut him again.
He had a good catch today, though.
Who cares?
You just.
I think Simba Webster might make it just because of his return ability.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, Jalen Hurd. I mean, who else is it? I don't even know who else. Like,
you sound lost.
It's just like our receiver room is not great. It's not.
It's not deep. No.
It's not that traditional. When you think of a good football team, you're like, okay, they got a good receiver core. This, that, and the third. This receiving core is not. It's not gangbusters at all. It's just kind of like. Did Kevin White he's on the Saints right now. Sorry.
He's on the Saints, yeah.
And he about to get cut from there.
Well,
if Kevin White makes that roster, I quit football. Straight up. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you the honest to God truth. If Kevin White makes the roster for the New Orleans Saints, I am done.
Well, because I feel like he's 8 years in. You're not gonna get on the practice squad being a 7-8 year vet, bro. So either you make it or you don't.
All right, so this is it. All right, here we go. The 6, right? We're talking about 6. The 6 had to make it for the Niners. Okay, so Simba Webster's getting cut. The reason why I just said Simba Webster's getting cut, I forgot. They put Elijah Mitchell back at kick return today.
And he did it good.
That was balling a kick return. So I'm a give, and then they're already talking about using Ayuk as a punt returner more. So Simba Webster's getting cut, and River Craycraft getting cut. Everybody else makes it.
That's crazy.
Everybody else makes it. Bigger question is, does Jordan Matthews make the team at tight end?
He should, but due to a roster spot, I don't know. He's one of those other guys that he's too much of a veteran to be on the practice squad. So either he makes it or he gets cut. There's no in between.
All right. Well, that's that. Another guy I really want. All right, let's just touch real quick and I'm moving. I'm sorry, y'all. This just show tonight is a little different. Where my Phil level family at? Anyway, Jermichael Hasty. The boy can run the rock, man. He can run that rock. What happens with Hasty? Does he make the team or does he not? The reason why I ask that is because you have Raheem Mostert, you have Trey Sermon, you have Elijah Mitchell, who I just talked about. Mm-hmm. Then you got Wayne Gallman, Hasty, and you still have Jeff Wilson Jr., who can potentially come back.
Is Jeff Wilson Jr. on IR designated to return? Was that his status?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to make the team because he has time to come back. I would say this: Hasty was on your practice squad once before, and then you pulled him up, correct?
Yeah, I just don't. If he goes to practice squad now, he's not staying.
He's not staying there. Somebody's going to get him off of waivers within the first 24 hours. So, if you guys like him that much, I would keep him. I would probably put Elijah Mitchell on the practice squad, and then I would keep Mostert, Sermon. Who did I just say? Hasty, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. when he comes back.
So cutting just flat out cut Wayne Gallman.
I think so. I like Wayne Gallman, especially today. He ran hard. I like Wayne Gallman, but I think I would say he's the odd man out just because you guys just got him from the Giants. It seems like everybody else in that running back room is either someone that's been there and that has a little bit of more credibility in the franchise, or you drafted them.
Yeah.
Wayne Gallman came from New York, so I feel like he's just the odd man out. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you, Quan, let's shift a little bit here. Going into week 1, September 9th marks the start of week 1, Thursday Night Football. Week 1 begins. What are you most looking forward to? Or what are you most excited to see, or who, as it pertains to the start of the regular season?
All right, I have 2. I have one West Coast related and one all over related. All over related, I'm really interested to see the Bills.
Okay.
Josh Allen only played almost a half. He played like 1.5 quarters of their last preseason game, and he looked like he ain't missed a beat from last year. Excuse me. So I'm interested to see if he just picks up where he left off, and I think he makes an MVP case this season, especially with the addition of Emmanuel Sanders. Just adds a little more depth to that room and doesn't let everybody just double digs. So I'm really interested to see if they just hit the ground moving. West Coast related, I'm gonna be a homer right now. I want to see how we respond. The Raiders always come out and we first half of the season 6-2 or whatever the case may be. But I think this year just feels different because we don't have any veteran in our wide receiver group to kind of like, hold our hand if the young guys don't do what they're supposed to do. And Derek Carr didn't play any in the preseason, but John Gruden said that Carr did so well in all the joint practices against the starters, he don't need to play. So I just want to see us get off to a roll against the Ravens. This is a good benchmark test. We can take down the Ravens week 1. I think that just sets us up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, you guys are interesting for me to see. One thing, like I said, going back to what I said earlier, one thing I'm looking forward to see what happens is if Kyle Shanahan will utilize the same kind of the way he did Trey Lance and Jimmy G today. I'm interested to see how he utilizes them going into the regular season. And if he does, what kind of issues does that create for the opposing offenses that are going to go up against the San Francisco 49ers? Another thing that I'm kind of interested to see, I don't know if you heard the news that came out that Miami is close to getting Deshaun Watson. And if that happens, what becomes of Tua Tagovailoa? And where he ends up, if he ends up being a Miami Dolphin, if he ends up doing something different, I'm interested to see how that unfolds. Those are two things that I'm gonna really keep my eye out for. Is the status of Tua and the Deshaun Watson situation, as well as how Kyle Shanahan, how Kyle Shanahan goes forward with that offense for 3 1s and 2 2s.
That's what they asking for, and I don't know. I saw a report that said the Dolphins really not interested. I mean, the Texans aren't interested in Tua, so I don't know what to believe until it happens at this point.
Well, if you give away Deshaun, who's your quarterback going to be?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if they would do it. I don't think they want Tua enough to get rid of Deshaun just because you get picks.
All right, last little segment, rapid fire, really quickly. Quan, give me the AFC West order.
Say it again.
Give me the order of the AFC West. CT, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up?
What's up with C? You mean the order record-wise?
The season ends at week 17. Give me that order of the AFC West. What does that look like? 1 through 4. Who wins it? Who comes in last?
The Chiefs will win the division. They'll probably be 14-3 or 13-4. One of those.
I hate those numbers now too. By the way, it's irritating here.
Yeah, no. The Raiders will be in contention for a wild card, just like we were. Just like
Peterman, baby.
Oh my God, Homer much.
Hold on, wait a second. Were the Raiders not in wild card contention last year?
I don't care. care.
So what you talking about?
Are the LA Chargers not better?
A lot better.
I don't know. Where they have the same people they had last year? Where are they better at?
Do they?
Bro, no, they don't. They got a new center. Corey Lindsey?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about
Derwin James is back.
First of all, you made a big deal when y'all boosted your offensive line when you got your center, so I wouldn't be doing all that, Quan.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Let me finish, man. The Raiders will be in contention for a wild card, and we will be either somewhere 10-7, 11-6.
Jesus, y'all good.
The Chargers will be right there, probably around the same record as us. The Broncos are going to be the last in the division, but they are a sleeper because they have a quarterback who don't turn the ball over, and their defense is stacked. So it should be interesting, man. It should definitely be interesting. But I think personally, y'all are going to disagree. I think we have the second best quarterback in the division. That's just so. I think we have a chance to make the wild card. That's just me.
Okay. In the AFC.
In the AFC West.
Yeah, AFC though. You make a wild card. It has to be AFC.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about my last statement about the quarterback. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying you said that they would be having a shot to be a wild card team.
Yes, in the AFC, yes.
So then that's when you go and contend. Like that's when you're in competition with, the Indianapolis Colts, the Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, Ravens, those guys. Like that's where you're. Yeah.
Yep, but this wild card,
and you're cool with that.
I am, because this wild card race will tell us a lot in the first 2 weeks. Because the first 2 weeks we play the Steelers and the Ravens.
It won't tell you nothing.
It will if we win.
That won't take Quan.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The first game of the season is going to be like a addition. That's going to be the last preseason game of the year. Ben hasn't played at all. Ben hasn't played at all.
Yes, he did. He played last preseason. See, that's what I'm saying. Got to do your Googles. Do your Googles.
Ben has not played, bro. Not like that, bro.
He played a half. What you mean?
Come on, son. You gonna be that guy?
Hey, you got to give it to him.
Nah. I'm not giving it. Ben he played a quarter and a half of football since a year ago, and man is 87,000 years old. Methuselah.
And he's still getting his team to the,
But I'm saying I'm not about to be like, oh my God, Big Ben week 2. Oh my God. Well, let's see what happens. If I beat him in week 2, it means that we're going to be the wild card. If I beat the Steelers in week 2.
It means that you just named all the teams that are going to be in the wild card hunt, and 2 of the teams you mentioned, we play the first 2 weeks. That's what it means.
So what does that? That doesn't mean nothing.
It means that if they're all in the wild card hunt, when it gets to the end of the season, if we're all together, we'll have the tiebreaker.
I hate it here. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I hate it.
Am I wrong?
No, that's good.
You're not wrong. Right. Why? Considering where you guys have been, the steeplechase to where you're trying to get to. The 4-12, the 7-9, the 8-8. I think that's the order. For you guys, that's a measuring stick. Is that fair?
I guess so. Yeah.
4-13.
Look. You keep talking. Y'all gonna mess up. Look, I'll be quiet. I digress. Go ahead.
CT, same question to you. Give me the order of the NFC West.
I have San Francisco at the top.
Of course.
It's not even of course. Just from being a football guy, I think I see a team that's run heavy, that's going to be effective with it, has a depth for it. Offensive line looked a little bit better. A couple questions with that 5th and 6th receiver, but I was thinking about it in my whole commute back home. I think I have it so, but I think defensively they're special. Their D line has a lot of depth. You guys might want to make a call if I'm the Raiders. I'm just saying, it's a lot of promise there. So, top, Seattle coming in next. At this particular time, I just don't see them falling off as much as I predicted they would. I think time will tell. I think the season will wear on Russell Wilson as it has, as he's been asked to do so much. So I think I see them at that second spot. But they'll be battling out with the Rams. The Rams will be right there as well. Stafford's going to give them an opportunity to elevate themselves. I'm not sure it'll work out that way. Some people have been making the argument that Stafford was held back by Detroit. Some people were saying that he didn't elevate Detroit enough. So it just depends on what argument or what side of the fence you are from that perspective. And then Arizona, I don't think it has anything to do with Kyler Murray. And I mentioned this on our Twitter conversation. It has everything to do with their coaching situation. I'm not sure if they have the right people coaching that type of talent. And I believe that is what is going to be their downfall this year.
All right, cool. Here I go. NFC West. I'll go NFC West. Vegas has the Raiders over under 6.5 wins.
Shock me. Why don't you shock the world and tell us that you think the Niners will be first in the division? Go ahead.
Niners will be first in the division.
Of course. What else?
When you say stuff like that, Quan, it makes me feel like you don't football. Stop playing with me. Stop playing. Stop playing.
I mean, y'all didn't make it last year. Y'all didn't win the division last year.
Quan, we were the most injured team in football.
It's already happening. It's already happening now. You got. Never mind. I don't want no one to be injured. Go ahead, finish.
Who hurt?
Go ahead, finish, bro.
Who hurt?
Richie James.
Oh my God, what a loss. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I got the Niners. Atop the division. Niners atop the division. They'll win the division. Niners will go 14-3. Maybe like they'll nothing less than 12-5 for me. Honestly, just my personal opinion. 12-5 is where I have them. 12-5 is between 14-3 and 12-5 right there. Then I'm going to go to the Los Angeles Rams as coming in second. I think that they are right there poised to make a move. I'm not sold on Stafford. I hear all that he didn't really have that much in Detroit. I mean, let's just not remember that for a certain amount of time, Matthew Stafford had Calvin Johnson, who's arguably one of the greatest receivers of all time. So let's not come on. But yeah, so I have Los Angeles Rams sitting there at number 2. I do believe that picking up Sonny Michel helped them a lot in that running back room. I think it's Michelle Henderson and those kids now over there is going to do some good work. Seattle, I say it every year, so every year I say it, so eventually it has to happen where they regress and Russell starts to kind of, go on the downslide there. And then I have the Arizona Cardinals pulling up the rear. But I would not be surprised if Arizona makes a fight and is in contention for that 2 or 3 spot, which then in turn for me personally would have Seattle drop into the bottom of the division. I understand that they have a good team. I understand they have Russell Wilson. I'm still very concerned about their running back room, although I hear DJ Dallas has had a pretty good offseason. But I'm still worried about their running back room, still worried about that defensive line, still worried about that secondary. So we'll see how they pan out. But I definitely have the San Francisco 49ers winning the NFC West going into the year. I do.
All right. Well, hey, I don't mean to cut you off because I don't want to keep talking about the Niners going forward.
I finished, so you didn't cut me off. I finished.
Can we get to our can we get to our surprises and letdowns? I'm very excited to talk about a few people.
Go ahead, Quan. It's on you. Shoot it.
Surprises and letdowns. I'm very surprised at our guy, Jeff Cotton Jr. One of our first pro guests to make the I think he was our first pro guest that made the show, other than Sop family.
Yep.
He balled out today for the Jags against the Cowboys. He had one touchdown catch that was a back shoulder. He had another big contested catch for like 40-some yards. I hope he makes this team because the guy who was playing with him when he was in, Laquan Treadwell, former first-round pick, he didn't outshine him. He didn't outshine him. A couple other guys that they got didn't. I think he makes this squad like the roster. So shout out to him. I have 2 letdowns, though. One surprise, 2 letdowns. Number 1, you mentioned Seattle's running back room. Rashad Penny's a letdown, bro.
Yeah.
I thought this year he'd be different. And I will say this to his credit, in the game today, I watched it. He ran hungry and he ran angrier than I've seen. But I think it's too little, too late. When you have Chris Carson, who's the franchise guy there, DJ Dallas, who you just touched on, Travis Homer's back from injury, and he gave them a lot of flexibility when he got his chance last year. You're the odd man out, bro, because you've been a former first-round pick and didn't do nothing. Health was an issue, but it is what it is. He was a letdown. And my next letdown, we going to have to rewind the tape and check when we had the draft, when we had our mock draft, and then when the draft was over. Jamar Chase should not be starting. He should not be in your top 3 rotation. He should not.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched a bunch of them.
Okay, well, look, Pat. I'm gonna tell you like this. The last two to three. I'm gonna say 2 to 3 because I didn't watch their first preseason game. But the last 2 preseason games, he had like 5 drops.
Sheesh.
Wow.
And in the last game I watched,
he should be playing for the Niners,
basically. But for the last preseason game, their second one, they threw him 2 slants, both dropped. Boom, right here, right? So then they said, well, he's just trying. The coach came his defense. He's just trying too hard. He needs to just relax.
Yeah.
He's pressing. And then so what do? But see, that's what happens when you take a year off voluntarily and you think you just the man. But anyway, you come the third game, he comes in, and what do? We're gonna get him involved early. We're gonna throw him just some screens to get his confidence up. Joe Burrow played today. The only pass Joe Burrow threw in his preseason game today, the only pass he threw was a quick screen to Jamar Chase, and he dropped it.
Yikes.
Joe Burrow was 0 for 1. 0 for 1. And Jamar Chase had 1 target and 1 drop.
That's crazy.
I don't care if you're number 1. You got to be on the bench, bro. Sorry.
That's crazy. CT, man, since you on, let's get it from you, man. Surprises, letdowns. Let's holler at it.
I'll start with the letdowns. J.K. Dobbins, what happened to him? Foul. Things happen, but that was just really unfortunate. Definitely was expecting a lot more from him this year, and I think they needed a lot more from him this year. The other one, Travis Etienne, I thought that was rough too, especially this year. Trevor was relying on him quite a bit, and now he doesn't have his go-to there. Surprises, I'll say I like what I saw out of Cotton was a good one. I'll also compliment. I'll stick with the Niners. Juwan Jennings played well. I didn't love him today, but over the course of camp, I thought he played
He's
really
played well this preseason. Quan, fix your face. Jesus Christ.
Hufanga, amazing.
Tyler Hufanga.
I'm a fan of his. And I'll shout out Trey Lance as well. I like what I saw out of Trey. You can tell that they're starting to unwind a little bit and allow him to do a little bit more. Shout out to the back end of that defensive line. Just a lot of depth, man, that we haven't seen from this team in quite some time. Really able to rush. So a lot of highlights and then some low points, but overall, man, I got to shout out. I'll say Juwan Jennings, man. I think that he deserves that 5th or 6th spot, depending on what you're thinking. He showed me enough. My only concern would be kind of the kicking game. Kick and punt return. What are you going to do to solidify that with Richie James out? December didn't really assert himself enough.
Elijah Mitchell, I
think you can go that route as well, which makes things easier and actually solidifies a spot for him. So definitely a lot of options there. But the way I see it, I see Hurd and Jennings. I don't keep Benjamin. You don't know what that concussion is going to be, that situation is going to be. So that would be my move, but I'm not sure exactly how that will fold out.
Yeah, all right, here we go, man. My surprise is no surprise. I've talked about it most of the show. My pick to make a play for the number 2 or even the number 1 spot for the 49ers, Trent Sherfield. I mean, balled out. This huge surprise. I mean, I went into this season like Trent Sherfield, who? Like, we got who? All right, cool.
I did
now
too.
I'm like, I need the 81 jersey. Like, give me the jersey. Like, I'll rock it. I'll rock the Sherfield. You know what I mean? So that was my biggest surprise is definitely Trent Sherfield. Came in, inserted himself, made plays when called on. Gotta love that type of stuff. Let down. Biggest letdown. I'm trying not to be disrespectful.
Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
This is a good one. I'll stay at the same place. I'm just talking about preseason. So who knows what happens? I'm gonna stay with the Niners, and I'm gonna say Brandon Ayuk.
That's fair.
Brandon Ayuk hasn't done anything this preseason that makes me feel like he's like a step in the right direction. Like, some people come back year 2, and you're like, oh, he took the step. But then some people come back in year 2 and like, oh, he needs to get a step. Like, he's not rocking it how he should. And that's kind of how I feel right now about Brandon Ayuk. He hasn't done anything that's making me feel like he is primed and ready to take over that receiver room and be the guy. So that's my letdown. I got to stay with the Niners all the way. You know what I mean? I got my draft hat
all
on.
the way.
I see that
hat on. So yeah. So Trent Sherfield, surprise. Brandon Ayuk letdown. There it is. That's what it is. Quan, CT, man, any final words tonight? We about to hop off of this thing. CT, thank you for hopping on, bro.
I appreciate you.
I'll say, hey, just make sure you guys are continuing to. I'm glad I got my laptop working, Field Little Family, because now I can be on the socials. But make sure you follow us on our socials. It was a crazy week on our socials, on all of them too. So keep following us, keep rocking with us, man. And week 1 is coming up soon, so hopefully we can do a little giveaway, and we're doing a guest every single week. So get ready.
There you go. CT, what's up, man? Any final words?
Man, excited that the preseason is over and we can get in real ball. Excited, to be back doing what we do best, talking about, the season as a whole, being able to talk about all the teams. That'll be really exciting as well. And just ready to rock out this season, my brother.
Man, Quan, what it is, man? Tuesday is Final Cut Day. I know that Field Level social media platforms is about to be going crazy on Tuesday. It is the Final Cuts Day. Yes, that's when they got to trim down from the 80 to the 53. So we'll see who made the cut.
That's a big cut.
Who makes the cut? Tuesday, August 31st. Let's get it. It's the Field Level, the football podcast of the West Coast. You can follow us on IG at the Field Level. Follow us on Twitter at the Field Level 1. Why don't you take the time to go do it now? I know that you have YouTube. I know you're watching us on YouTube. And I know that some of y'all pay for that YouTube. When you swipe up, you still hear the YouTube playing. I understand that. Oh, yeah, fantasy football season is amongst us. There will be emails going out on this week for the Field Level Family. For the Field Level Family Fantasy Football League. Find us on Yahoo Fantasy Football. The Field Level. But nah, for real.
He having fun over there. See?
Nah, for real, man. Let's get it going, man. It's the Field Level Football Podcast of the West Coast. Thank y'all for being with us tonight. Make sure that you're following. Make sure that you're doing all the right things. Right now, go over there. Follow them pages now. It's ASAP. Get there. It's the Field Level Football Podcast of the West Coast. Elevator going up. You are now leaving the field level.
Every week, catch it freshest on your TV. Field level football, Quan, Pat, and CT. On the field, running plays for the 3P. And we shine lights, camera, action when you see the team. Pick 6, touchdown when I got the ball. And if you think you in my league, tell them knock it off. Money calling every day, and I just got the call. Production over projection, it's in us, we just got a ball.